Diamonds, no filter.
We start looking at when they said separation, then they said there's a big thing on it, laissez-faire mentality. They promoted to black people to the idea of let it work on their own. Let them figure it out. And so when you hear black people say, oh, nah, he got it. No, we don't have it. I need help. You need help. We're intertwined. There's social components that all work off of each other. The trains need people to bring the trains here. The trains need riders, the MTA machines, the electricity. All of those things work together. So when we teach individualism, which is part of the laissez-faire mentality, then we start to see that individualism mixed with laissez-faire mentality mixed with belief system. Once they removed the institution of scrutiny from the black community and replaced it with the institution of belief. I don't do belief. Belief is, put into the corner. We need to have institutions based off of what you know, what you can prove, and what you can, and what hypothesis we have based off of what you prove. And so we don't have, once we start looking at the things that this was systematically put into our community in the 40s, 30s. The Navy is one of the main people that was behind the research for the applied eugenics. It wasn't some little people. It was major corporations, major institutions, major agencies. And this is who we have to focus on. And once we say, let's look at, and that for myself, that's what I looked at, like the promotion of eugenic lifestyles. Now, the promotion of eugenic lifestyles may seem like what for black people? For white people, it's promoting, have a husband, wife, and make sure you have children and grow them up. For black people, it's the opposite. When you say promoting your eugenic lifestyles, you're promoting the white supremacist lifestyles. So for black people, you have the breakdown of the home. You have through integration, you had Lyndon B. Johnson's family funding's whole charades, and that broke down the family phone because the structure was based off of you live in a project, you get government funding, you can't have the man in the house, and then the schools are working with the parents in the sense to say we're not going to talk to the father because we know you live in this zip code, and if you live in this zip code, your father is not supposed to be there. And these things, once we attack that, then we know the other parts will come into, make sense. The school system is up front, damn near most important.
Yeah, because a lot of times, even within the school system, those are the people like, oh, you got a scar? They call them, when we was young, it was called BCW. They call them BCW. ACS, now it would be called ACS and DIFUS and all that shit. The school system was doing a lot of fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? The time. They was doing a lot of fuck shit because they was giving the kids swine. They was doing all types of...
To this day, they still are. They testing the kids all the time.
Yeah, and not only that, they're indoctrinating your child from young bullshit, all lies. You know what I'm saying? And you sending your child to school to get the lies because... you have to work, and essentially, you just really sending them to a babysitter. That's sending them bullshit.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? If we got so many different religions within black people. I keep trying to tell black people, yo, we are all of those things. All of those things come from us. But you have some people who say, no, I'm a Moor, I'm Non-Valley, I'm RBG, I'm Hebrew Israelite, I'm Nation of Islam, I'm God Body, I'm Christian, I'm a fucking Buddhist, I pray to a head of lettuce, and I'm right, and you're wrong. How harmful is that to us?
That's the belief system that, as an institution, personally, that needs to just be put into a box.
Okay.
And that box is called Belief Box. And everybody who has a belief box, you can meet up on Thursday and talk about your beliefs. But that belief box cannot be introduced and brought into the schools. And so, in my institution, there is no religion. You see what I mean? I'm an atheist. I would never let that walk into the doors. So,
you going to hell now? You know, when you say you're an atheist,
whatever.
Some black, how you not going to believe in the law?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't do belief. We want to know. We can know. And I'm not even going on that. I did the years of debating with Christians and debating with people, and I still be blacking out on religion. But that's me. Now, on the personal level, it's business. I could do business with you, and I keep it on that line to where that's just what it is. You see what I mean? And if we keep ourselves around business, a lot of people will make sense because they're there for functionality. And once they leave that function, the communication is gone.
You know why that's real? Because I think we are under the misconception that all white people like each other.
Of course not.
They don't. They
Hell
just
no.
know how to do business with
That's
each
it.
other and keep us out of it. And the fact that I don't like you, and when white people don't like each other, you just can't come to the bar mitzvahs and the parties and
That's
all
it,
that.
yeah.
But when we come to the office, we do millions and billion-dollar deals and fuck you after that. With us, we take everything so personal
Yeah.
to where our dislike for each other fucks up the business and everything.
I think that's what's happening exactly with.
So
You know
I
what?
got that
Personally,
right now?
first
Yeah.
I'll say that with Umar and myself.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I'll admit that to myself that I think I personally am guilty of that. But I've never saw what I consider to be that level of profiteering. Like of all the community events I went to, they were very small and low, and like nobody made money. You had the people selling stuff on the side. And when I went to his event, I thought it was a rap party. Like people were buying books with autographs in it, T-shirts, autographs,
Yeah.
buttons that I just the flags. You know the little flags on my desk. Them things is $6 for 12 of them. They was $5 each.
Damn.
And I'm just like, now Sears would not have did what I did to Macy's.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Sears would have just said, all right, I see what you're doing. We're going to have this sit down and we're going to expose what you're doing, but on the table. You know what I mean? But now being that we're also jungle warriors, we warriors coming from the garrison, I'm invigorated to speak because it's wrong. And that's what makes me walk up to churches and say, nah, I don't care what y'all promoting. Y'all wasting space. There's no reason that y'all got 10 churches on Ralph Avenue.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like this, no, I would rip all of these down. That's what made me build the school up, the space I have initially, because I'm talking about all these spaces being a waste. I'm like, the first chance I get a 20 by 20 foot space. I'm putting walls, computers, desks. I'm going to show y'all what y'all can do because y'all wasting time, and I'm going to expose what it really costs to help people because you're making it seem like it's a big
$1 million, $2 million
$1 million thing. Nah, you don't need that much to build a school. You don't need that much to build something.
To build a school right now, how much you need?
You need a space.
Space, first and foremost.
Once you get a space, then you need to get it legal. That depends on what state you're in. And this is why I say business is the formality that we need to get used to. Because a school is just a space that's legally used to do education in. Now, as long as you can get that in New York, you can put whatever the hell you want in it. You see what I mean? What type of school it is, it's up to you. You can do a school for barbitry. You can do for school for home health aid. It's just a matter of the legalities. I don't have a space that is legally sufficient to build a school in, nor would I want it to be. You see what I mean? The space I have is legally sufficient to run educational programs out of. And this is where you have to understand the formalities of the language.
Okay.
And so now going forward you where you're at. So now if the language is not that same in your state, maybe we should focus on that state. Maybe your state doesn't have any laws that state that you can't have a school. Because New York, you can't say school. Every time you hear me say school, I say institution after because I understand that I'm making a mistake.
Yeah.
But culturally, I'm used to saying school. But no, I have an institution, and the institution has programs. But we don't have a school in New York City.
It's illegal to say school.
You know, unless you have the proper situation, because if not, they're going to run in there and start checking you in every other way.
FBI and all the
FBI, and
yeah.
I don't need that. You know what I mean? Until we get the space. And so, you know, I promote guerrilla warfare mentality. And so I don't know what tomorrow's research. And I think some of us get married too quickly to our ideas before we get into the streets and realize that it may not be a good idea. That church sounded good when you was 27, but after you had your 3 kids and you got married, there's nobody there. You just wasted, you know, give it away. And if you paid for it already, you bought the building, you know, let somebody else do something for the community that's not involved with your religion. And that's something that I had an issue with the CCC Church, Brooklyn Tabernacle. I'm on their neck too. The Brooklyn Tabernacle and CC Church have enough money to rewrite black education in New York City. Alone, them 2 institutions. But you can't get them to do anything unless you're a member.
Wow.
That's crazy to me.
So yeah, because what's happening, it's a lot of tribalism with black people.
Super tribalism. That's what we are.
Yeah, exactly. And that shit is just detrimental to what's going on. And even for us as dudes who's on the streets, we kind of put a lot of that shit behind us now. We just like, yo, we all fighting against the beast. I don't give a fuck if you from Brownsville, you from Canarsie, you from the 90s, you from downtown. We know who the enemy is overall. You know what I'm saying? That's why so much truces between gang members and shit now, because they know, I like to call them street organizations, because they know who the real problem is. And then when the problems arise between them, it's the motherfucking puppet master
playing
them against them. And I think that that's happening in so many facets of everything dealing with black people. It's always the system of white supremacy that come and throw somebody a bone and say, yo, shit on him.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's right now they don't even have to. It's systematical. It's running on, like my studio, my business is running on its own, and it needs to be better. See, we gotta understand these people. Yo, eugenics made Nazis. Like Nazism was started in an American society for eugenics, American Eugenics Society in New York City. Nazism. You understand that? Mm-hmm. These people in Germany were counting the bullets and the amount of gas used to kill people. And they quoted their methodology from Americans.
Wow.
So when we think about these same people were in America coming up with ways to secretly do this to us and come up with systems and policies that they can create to run on their own. You know what I mean? And we think it's some just like off the wall stuff. Like, no, this is real stuff.
Yeah, we think it's a movie.
No, it's
some theatric shit. When you find out that Bayer was giving motherfuckers pills that had AIDS in it.
And Bayer just bought Monsanto. Monsanto got indemnification from Obama.
Obama, yeah.
Do you like that's we can't sue Bayer. I don't even understand how to word that. Like that hurts. Like, you know what I mean? Planned Parenthood is committing more abortions. I believe in 2012 it was 30,000 abortions, 24,000 black babies born.
Now look, what about Johnson & Johnson giving the babies cancer?
And it's now you just add it up. And this is why I talked about the predator-prey theorem. The predator-prey theorem is they teach it. Anybody in school in Calculus 1 or in Calculus 2 has to learn the predator-prey theorem. They teach it in every school. And it shows you how long will a prey last against a predator who has this many variables. And what variables does the rabbit have against the fox? Can the fox see? Can the rabbit have the fur matches the snow? Does the rabbit have good teeth to blow the holes? Is there enough food? Can the rabbit run fast? All these variables determine how long a population can live against another population. They teach it in regular school. They don't want to kill us off. They want to maintain the population. And that's why Planned Parenthood is such an instrumental institution for America, because our ignorance is what's needed to run these institutions that are based off of our ignorance. That's why I'm doing credit repair for free now. Hit me up, because the credit repair got sold as an institution that people go to somebody else for help from versus just reading the law.
Yeah.
And then you understand it from the law and from the person. The usage is proper, usage is for it. Then you go forward. And we started doing that with all these institutions, and we started taking them on in ways that they weren't meant for, or ways that we didn't really look at the underlying purposes that they're being used for. Just like Hollywood, we thinking, all in the 80s, all these dope black movies. And then when you really look back at all the movies, Will Smith's show was damn near all gay people.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Martin Lawrence was a tranny half every episode. I love these shows growing up.
Yeah.
But when you sit back and look at it, then it indoctrinated in the core principles where we see you can play this type of person, George Jefferson, but in real life you don't mess with a wife, and that's not Denzel.
Even Michael from Good Times was strong pro-black, but in real life he wasn't like that.
You see what I mean? And what dude that from Star Wars married a white woman?
Yeah.
James Earl Jones. And so when we look at all these things, Harry Belafonte, I would get yourself a white woman. Then the black sister. This is part of the system of why I say this is the part of the reason why I say we have to take the system and put it over there and say, get the hell out of my way. Leave your money at the door, cracker. And I understand what my pops instilled in my head early on by saying, what you gonna do without that white man? What does it look like without that white man?
Figure it out,
and then draw that picture. And stop thinking about it based off of him, and then you'll have power. Because then you'll start to say, I don't need your toilets. That's why I'm doing the electricity class, because one of those kids in the next 5 years is gonna figure out how to make a battery.
Yeah.
5-10 years that we can use. You see what I mean? That's going to power our community.
Because the biggest person in the world, the most needed person is engineers.
Most needed.
Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Look who, that's the real Tony Stark.
And we have nothing but black engineers that can. We've engineered everything. I'm not good with names, but the motor, the AC, the stoplight, the barber clippers, the tire pressure gauges.
Benjamin Banneker is one of them.
All of these things, the elevator, the pulley, the shaft, the battery, pressure pumps, hydraulic pumps, all of these things we came up with. Scuba diving gear. Like, we came up with so much stuff, and it's just that, again, it's a business acumen that we didn't have. And that's like and I had to understand what my pops telling me. No, we have to understand that the world of business is not what we think it is. Like, when I tell people, yo, business in America starts off with 3 good credit profiles. And now you can start yourself off as a 100 business. You're not a 500 business, Fortune 500, you're a Fortune 50. Because you're starting off with $300,000-$400,000. In New York City, you got to start off with $500,000 to be something like equivalent to like a Fortune 50 to Fortune 100. You understand?
Yeah.
And so we're not looking at it. And when we look at Uber and understand that Uber is a Fortune 500 startup, it's not you and me starting up. It's Uber started off with a platinum card.
Off the muscle.
10 platinum cards in 10 countries. So you can't compete with that, no matter what you want to say. And so when we start to think like that, that's when our muscle gets turned back and we start looking at the predator-prey theorem. What's the weakest points in our community to attack? Then from there, we can strategize as units and say, we're going to attack this situation. Right now, the weakest institution in the black community is the church.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
And for me, from white supremacy aspect and from a black empowerment aspect, those institutions have more space. They're registered to people who clearly have money to waste.
Yeah, because they paying their tithes and they doing extra shit.
The owners clearly have spaces. It's unregulated. You can say what you want in them spaces. You see what I mean?
And you don't pay no taxes.
And you don't pay no taxes. That's the first place we need to start going.
Yeah.
Let's start targeting them people and get back inside of there. And start slowly. I spoke on, the daycare centers. There's no nationwide African-centered daycare curriculum. And a lot of times, and I was talking to parents and speakers, people that's watching, a lot of these daycare centers get caught up looking for Head Start grants. And other grants that, again, align with the system of white supremacy.
That's going to fuck us around in the long
Exactly. And when you get Head Start, you got to put up pictures of Christopher Columbus. You got to teach the fuckery.
Yeah.
No, mathematically, you need to find a place that's legally functional to be a daycare space that cost very cheap. That's what you got to do. So when I tell people to start before you start a business, find a space that's cheap.
Yeah.
Or find a product that you can get for cheap, then sell it. Because that's what nobody taught me. You know what I mean? Then see what the community has. Then you know what they need. Because you see what they have. And you're like, oh, you know what? They don't have this over here. And I got a space and the rent is $400. I already worked it out with the landlord. And a Jewish dude told me that. And then he's like, look, no matter what, I think the spot is on Nostrand and across the street from Nostrand and Beverly. It's like a hospital, a just big building. A Jewish dude owned that building for years. And it's been like 2 different hospitals, medical centers. The dude is not a doctor. He just owns the building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we just got to implement that in our minds and start strategizing around quantifiable goals. And right now, this is the era of quantifiable goals. And that means that it has to be measurable. You can't get a show and you can't get on Doggie Diamond show if you're not measurable. I can't validate you, bro. There's no numbers.
Yeah, it can't be just talking about nothing.
That's it.
What are we talking about? So before we go, give them all the information, how to get in contact with you and support your cause.
Xyx.com, XYAYX.com. We're updating it constantly. On Facebook, I have 2 accounts, Q Butter. I'm typically on the one with the RBG flag, but my other one I'm always in jail on. I be talking a lot crazy.
They be locking you up? Man?
Yeah, they lock me up regularly. I'm in it until January, coming out the New Year's. And then,
damn.
Twitter, Xyx is everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We just stepped up our nonprofit, so to say, internet presence. So that's Xyx Tahasisi or the Xyx Institute everywhere. I think on the Instagram is the Xyx Institute. Facebook like page. It should be up and running, or it's about to be up and running. But you can look it up, the Ziax Institute, Ziax everywhere. If you're interested in credit repair, before you hit me up, hit me a message on Facebook with your state that you live in, your phone number, and sign up to Credit Karma and be on a desktop computer, so that way we can just get straight to work. It may take a couple days for me to get back to you, but I will get back into you. And hit me up directly.
That's it. All right, so I'll put all the information on the screen so they have it, or rather I'll put it in the description box so they can have everything. This ain't going to be the last time you're going to see Q Butter on my program. We're going to keep coming back because there's a lot more that we're going to get into. We was light today because I wanted to get the information out that y'all needed to hear. We going to go because as the days progress, more shit is happening. So we're going to talk about more. But this is, my brother right here. I don't want y'all to think that I just, this ain't no bandwagon shit. I've been to him, and the first time that I got around him, he put me in a room with about 35 other black men and women just for the purpose of building. Not there to, eat cake and ice cream and try to bag something. We was all there exchanging numbers and building, and some of us was able to build a relationship that we have at this present time, moving and shaking within our community. So I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And he got a studio. He got a lot of services that he could offer you. So just make sure, I'm gonna make sure the GoFundMe is in there too.
The Ziax Institute.
Yeah, the GoFundMe is in there, and support that. You give money. I'm not even going to give y'all a lecture on what to do with your money, but you know what the fuck you do with your money.
Facts.
And this man show and prove of what he's going to do with what you give him. And he's always updating, saying, oh, we just went and got this. Oh, we just went and got 6 more telescopes. Mm-hmm. That's what you want. So I see y'all asking other people, well, what did you do with the money we gave you? He going to tell you what he did with the money right away. So I'm Doggie Diamonds. We out of here. Peace. Doggie Diamonds, no filter.